Greetings to all, and welcome to the virtual classes of Divine Public School, Mohanapur, Gorakhpur. This is the virtual class of Class 3, Subject English 1. Today we are going to start Lesson 5, Great Scientist Isaac Newton. Today, in our English literature book, Root and Wings, we are going to start our lesson, that is lesson number 5, Great Scientist Isaac Newton. It is very interesting to read about the inventions and discoveries of some ordinary men and women. With their knowledge and efforts, they change the world and the way we live. Let us find out about one such great scientist, that is Sir Isaac Newton. A curious girl, Sia, wanted to know more about this brilliant scientist and his inventions. Let us read out this story and find out what invention, what discoveries he did. Let us read this chapter. Dinner was over and everyone was relaxing. Sia sat with Grandpa, waiting for the bedtime story. Her parents were watching television, catching up on the happenings of the day. Suddenly, Sia spotted a spider walking on the roof. She watched it carefully. Then she said, Grandpa, I wish I could walk up the wall and on the roof like that little spider there. Then I could watch you from the top. It would be fun. Ha ha, but that is just not possible, my little girl, said Grandpa with a chuckle. Why not? Well, a spider has tiny hairs at the tips of its legs, so it can walk on the roof. But the force of gravity pulls us towards the surface of the earth. How do you know that, Grandpa? Everybody knows this, dear, said Grandpa. But who told everyone about this? Said Sia, looking confused. Sia and her family member, they just finished their dinner and everyone was relaxing. Sia was sitting with her grandpa and curiously waiting for the bedtime story. That means she was eagerly waiting for her bedtime story. Her parents were watching television, catching up all the information or happenings of the day. That means they are collecting all the information of the whole day which they missed out. Suddenly, Sia spotted, or we can say looked, or saw a spider walking or moving on the roof. She watched that very carefully, and then she said to her grandpa that she also wished to walk up just like a spider on the wall or on the roof. Her wish was to climb up on the wall and moving up on the roof like a spider. Then she will be able to watch everyone all over from the top, and it would be so much fun for her. Grandpa laughed and said, It is impossible, my dear little girl. It can't be done. He laughed in a soft and a quiet way. She asked, Why? Why can't? Why not? Then Grandpa replied that a spider has tiny hairs at the tip of their legs. That's why they are able to walk on the roof. But the force of gravity, that is gravitational force, pulls us towards the surface of the earth. Eagerly, she asked how he knows all these things. Then Grandpa replied that everyone knows about this. Then again she asked, but who told all these things to everyone? Sia was all confused. She looked confused and she was asking from her grandpa that who told all these things. Sia, long back there was a scientist called Isaac Newton. He discovered gravity. It is said that one day he was sitting under an apple tree when he saw an apple fall on the ground. This set him thinking. He wondered why things fell down when thrown up in the air, or why things thrown from a height fell down. Then he later explained that it happened because of the gravitational attraction of the earth. Sia, even when you jump up, you land back on the floor. Isn't it so? Yes. Oh, it's great to know about this. Tell me more about Isaac Newton, Grandpa, said Sia eagerly. All right, now listen to me, Sia. It was in 1643 that Isaac Newton was born in England. He was the only son of a wealthy farmer who died 3 months before the birth of the baby. He was born weak and tiny. His mother remarried later. She left him in the care of his grandmother. See, a long back, there was a scientist called Isaac Newton. He discovered gravity. It is said that one day he was sitting under an apple tree when he saw an apple fall on the ground. This set him thinking. He wondered why things fell down when thrown up in the air, or why things thrown from a height fell down. Then he later explained that it happened because of the gravitational attraction of the earth. Sia, even when you jump up, you land back on the floor, isn't it so? Yes. Oh, it's great to know about this. Tell me more about Isaac Newton, Grandpa, said Sia eagerly. All right, now listen to me, Sia. It was in 1643 that Isaac Newton was born in England. He was the only son of a wealthy farmer who died 3 months before the birth of the baby. He was born weak and tiny. His mother remarried later. She left him in the care of his grandmother. He was educated at the King's School, Grantham. At the age of 12, Newton was reunited with his grandmother and she took him out of school. She wanted him to become a farmer. Newton hated farming. He rejoined the school. Then in 1661, he got admission in Trinity College, Cambridge. He must be brilliant. Then Grandpa told Sia that this is a long back story. There was a scientist called Isaac Newton. He only discovered gravity. It is said that one day he was sitting under an apple tree when he saw an apple fallen on the ground. This made him thinking. He kept on thinking. He wondered why things fell down when it is thrown up in the air, or why things fall down from a height. Then later on, he explained this in his theory, that is gravitational attraction of the earth. Then he told Sia that when you jump, you will land back on the floor, isn't it? Then she replied, "Oh, yes, it is great to know about this. Grandpa, tell me more about the Isaac Newton," she asked in eager. Then Grandpa replied, "All right, now listen to me, Sia. It was the year 1643 when Isaac Newton was born in England. He was the only son of a wealthy farmer. That is me. That means rich farmer who died 3 months before the birth of the baby. When he was born, he was weak and tiny. His mother remarried someone later and left Isaac in the care of his grandmother. He was educated at the King's School, Grantham, a small town in England. At the age of 12, Newton was reunited with his mother, and she took him out of the school because she wanted him to become a farmer. Newton hated farming. He rejoined the school, and then in year 1661 he got admission in Trinity College, that is in Cambridge. After listening all this, Sia replied that he must be a genius and brilliant one. Yes, indeed, it was Isaac Newton who explained the law of gravitational two. Gravity is the force that attracts a body toward the center of the earth. In simple words, it is also a force that attracts a body towards any other physical body having mass. He also explained the movement of the planets around the sun. Wow, exclaimed Sia. What else, Grandpa? Newton also explained that the white light is a mixture of various colored rays. We can see the colors in the rainbow. He said that the light is made up of streams of tiny particles. All this is so interesting. Oh, yes, but I will tell you more about Isaac Newton, that his other invention, some other day. Anyway, you will learn all this in detail when you grow up. said Grandpa. He further added, "Now let me tell you, dear Sia, that Newton was elected the president of the Royal Society in 1703. He died in March 1727 in London. He is one of the greatest scientists ever," said Sia. "Indeed, now you should sleep as you have school tomorrow." "Good night," said Sia. "Thanks for telling me about Isaac Newton." "You are welcome, dear. Good night." Then Grandpa replied, "Yes, indeed, it is true. It was Isaac Newton who explained the law of gravitation. That is, gravity is the force that attracts body toward the center of the earth. In simple word, it also can be said that the force that attracts a body towards any other physical body having mass. It also explained the movement of the planet around the sun." "Wow!" exclaimed Sia and asked what else he explained. Grandpa extended his word that Newton also explained that white light is a mixture of various colored rays. We can see the colors in the rainbow. He said that the light made up of various streams of tiny particles. All these are so interesting. Sia was amazed as told by Grandpa. Grandpa also said, "Yes, but I will tell you all more about Sir Isaac Newton and his other inventions some other day. Anyway, you will further know him about in detail when you grow up." Grandpa also added that Newton was elected as the president of the Royal Society in 1703. He died in March 1727 in London. He was one of the greatest scientists ever known. Grandpa agreed with her and said, "Yes, true. He is he was the one of the greatest scientists ever. Now, Sia, you should go and sleep as tomorrow you have school." Then Sia replied, "Good night and thanks for telling her about Sir Isaac Newton." Grandpa also replied, "You're always welcome, dear. Good night." So, student, this was the story about Sir Isaac Newton, a great scientist who discovered about the gravitational force as well as the movement of planets around the sun. He also explained that the white light is made up of or the mixture of various colored rays. When you will grow up, you will go up in the senior classes, you will come to know more about his other invention as well as other scientists too. Now it's time for the difficult words. Difficult words: chuckle, gravity, royal, wealthy, physical, England, London, gravitation, invention, president, attraction, mass, trinity, Isaac, scientist, brilliant, particles, indeed, planets, Cambridge, Newton. Now it's time for activity. Write the names of any 5 scientists and their invention in your rough copy. See the example. First, Sir Isaac Newton. Invention is gravitational force. Second, Marie Curie. Her invention is radium. Same way, find out the names of any 5 scientists and their invention and write it in your rough copy. Now, home assignment: read the lesson twice, learn all the difficult words, do activity in your rough copy. Stay safe. Thank you.